Dominic had filed a previous one on March the 22nd. Are y'all aware of that?
I don't know anything about that. We don't have anything formally in the record.
Well, evidently,
So
Dominic filed it on the 22nd of March.
Okay, well, we appreciate that, but we don't have anything.
Okay, so you don't know anything about it, so you cannot tell me how it's going to affect anybody. Gee, I find that very surprising. Thank you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Grove.
Go through the expenses first. And in each different category, how much monies that we have spent, and, you know, expenses are against that category. And of note, if you look down on the capital cost, that's where we had the greatest expenditure. And we're starting, and I'll report that in a little while when I talk about the infrastructure that we're doing and the different projects that we have. But you still see, and you know, this report is from 1 October until now. Walmart infrastructure, we completed that, and the last payment was $25,757.55. And then we've been spending on the Lone Oak business property to complete the road out there. And we've yet to asphalt the road and then pave it, and that's what we're working with the city to complete that. On the Martin Business Park, we got $59,147.29, and that's a different cost that we incurred in bringing in more base material, reinforcing the road that we have, augmenting the drainage ditch and the bridgeway, if you will, over the drainage ditch that we have out there that allows the water to flow from east to west on the property and not wash away the road. In spite of the heavy rains that we had last week, everything we've done out there has held. And I've got a crew out there reinforcing that today. More rain is predicted in the near future, and also ensuring that we have all the obstacles cut out of the way. And then the other things are just expenditures that we've had. At the beer warehouse, we had to do some work at the beginning of the fiscal year with electricity and work on our air conditioner systems. But everything else is just, you know, pretty much standard on capital costs. Debt service, and that's basically
Just before you go on, the Rancho Grande, what was that for?
Well, that actually should have been rolled into the, you know, the Martin Property Business Park. It's just an accounting glitch that my bookkeeper put, but I've got to combine those two. So just add the 1,400 to the to the 59,000, and we're working on that, and also, you know, just trying to make sure that all the accounts have the right categories in them. But that's part of the overall work, and we're primarily working on the road. I've also paid ahead, you know, or put in advance the monies that Phelps requires to install the electric lines out there. So we paid that, so there are no glitches with Phelps in terms of getting the electricity out there. But I'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Just see the downtown revitalization.
Right,
Okay,
the downtown revitalization.
What is that? I mean, where?
We spent some monies primarily on the White House Cafe to work on the facade for that, and also to fix the drainage in the front of the building with the awning. So we took care of that. And then also we worked with Arcadia, you know, to upgrade their sign, which is basically the old neon sign that they have. And the rest of the work has been, you know, minor things that we've had to fix on some of the, you know, facades in the buildings.
So it's not just one
No,
area.
it's about three things. And also we're looking at how to fix the drainage that runs from on 3rd Street, runs down to C Street, the corner, you know, where the merchant building, the old merchant building, Turner building is, how that water just rolls around the side there, runs in front of all the businesses from 3rd Street all the way to 4th Street. And that's the restaurants are there, the barber shop, the insurance company, to include Big Dan's, and, you know, when it rains, and it rains like we've had recently, where it comes all at once, you know, there may be 1 or 2 feet of water, and I think Monica was out there one day.
Oh, yeah.
When I was looking at it, it's hard to get across, and I know Delilah's in the audience, and she was out there putting, you know, she had one of her workers putting out bricks and, you know, blocks of cement to allow the people to go from their car, step on these blocks and get out of the water and onto the sidewalk.
Wow.
So there are things that we have to work on. I've briefed the city manager. He's been out there with me, and the street crew supervisor, Mr. Rudy Vasquez, trying to figure out which is the best way to alleviate that.
Have we come up with anything yet?
I'm sorry?
Have we
Well, they
come
got
up
2
with any
ideas. One is
ideas?
to cut a trench on 3rd Street and take it from the east side of the street to the west side. In other words, from where, between the old, the Turner building and where the Eschenberg store starts or stops, and then go across the street on C Street to the corner where the, you know, the old bank used to be. And that would entail either cutting a trench and putting metal grates over it, or placing drainage pipes underneath the road to take care of the water. We're going to ask Mr. Heimer, our engineer, to kind of give us an idea which one of those 2 he prefers and how well can we maintain it once we do that. But Mr. Vasquez and the city manager both feel that if we do that, that'll take care of most of that water, that heavy rush of water that comes. And it's only in that one block, you know, that you get that water. And also because of the cottages, they've got an impervious material in the whole property. So more water now comes on the street than it did before. So we're taking a look at that.
And we might know something by when, do you think?
Well, I've been kind of busy with the business park right now, and Mr. Jocelyn asked me to hold off on that as well, because he's got his crews working on South 3rd. They can't help right now, so we're waiting, you know, for that to kind of alleviate a bit.
That's in the plan.
Yeah, it's in the plan, and we've had it in the plans to work. But if we get the city crew to do it, cut the street, and do most of the work, then it'll save us money. If not, they're gonna have to go out and find somebody that can do that.
Like maybe within a couple of months, you think?
Yeah, I've said this before, I don't like to be held down to, you know, 30 days, 60 days, but I think we could probably do it before that. Weather permitting, and if I can coordinate with the city manager, I think we can get it done. It's in the best interest for everybody to get
Yeah.
done as quick as
Well, even
possible.
in front of Jalisco, I've noticed, you know, when it rains, it just...
It comes fast.
Yeah, it does, and you keep walking down the street trying to find a place to cross, and
You can't.
you really don't find one.
Well,
Yeah.
there is all puddles right
Yeah.
in front of the...
It's
I
crazy.
tried to help a lady get in her car, and, you know, and I volunteered to take her car. I had to take the car all the way past the cottages to find, you know, where old Mark Mitchell building used to be, at least for her to even cross into her car, and she still got her, you know, her feet wet.
Wow.
So there's no way, you know, unless we do this, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other costs, like in advertisement, marketing and promotion, Festival of Lights, and actually the advertisement shows 1440. Most of that should be in the category of fireworks. We haven't done too much advertising. We haven't bought too many signs like we did in the past. And also part of that cost is the cost of the retail coach and the fireworks. But I can break that down in more detail for you.
So what's the fireworks of advertisement?
Well, I'm saying that part of the firework cost got placed in advertisement. It shouldn't have. It should have run under fireworks.
So can you get that for us next month?
I'm sorry?
Can you
Yes,
get that for
I
us
can do
next
that
month?
for you.
Okay, thanks.
And I can show you exactly where all that went to, but keep in mind, we didn't have the fireworks last year, so we don't have to buy all the fireworks again, you know, they're holding them for us. The $17.50 that you see there was basically a cost to move them into a more secure location, a warehouse, and that we can have them for this year. But the fireworks director, the company that I'm working with, said that they would review all the fireworks, do a safety inspection, and make sure that they're safe to use. And we're coordinating with the city right now, and I think the Historical Society is trying to have a grand ole opry around the 4th of July, and they want to have fireworks to see if we can incorporate the fireworks into their plan. So we're working with them on that.
That would be great.
So on the signs, what time is that, Missy?
I'm sorry, the signs, let me see, where are we, the signs? I worked with Finders Keeper to help them, you know, put up some signs for the grand opening. And that was it.
Did we work on the facade of Mr. Cavier's building?
We did that last year, and that was completed. And I think the total cost there, because once they started doing the work, we found out that all this front was rotted. So we had to go back and do more than we normally would do. And I think that came out to about $5,500. But I can get you the exact cost on that. And that building hadn't been worked on, I don't think, since it was, you know, since it opened up. Okay, what I'd like to do now is go over the bank account balances. And just to show on the checking account, currently we have $32,772.26. In the money market account, we have $451,332.23. In the CD, it's $56,776.43. A total of $540,880.92. Now the jump increase, the main increase has been the sale of property. And what I'm doing is preparing a report that shows all the different pieces of property that we sold and what each one brought to us. I don't have all the closing statements from the, I got the money, but I don't have the closing statements from the title company. So once I get that, then what I'll do is I'll put that report together for you. But it's looking good, and you know, as you remember when we approved the budget, I had allocated $250,000 for infrastructure projects, primarily at the business park. So we have the resources. It's just a matter of, you know, getting that work done. Okay, that's all I have on this.